Thank you, Swamiji, for reminding and remembering many stories. And this one is for Larry to make a note. And I think we have friends visiting from the Parliament of World Regions office. So there is a very interesting connection of the conference that Swamiji was mentioning in 1972. And that was the, I'm still doing the research. Once I find it, I'll pass it on to the Parliament office. I guess it was one of the biggest interfaith conference that happened in 72, and I was not born then. I was born a few months after. This body was born in 1972. And that is the first time that my father, who is also a monk, who also took initiation from Swami Chidanand Maharaj. First time he met Swami Chidanand Maharaj in that conference, because he was a very big organizer and he was a magician by profession. So he met Swami Chidanand for the first time, and that is where he, the magician fell for a bigger magic. And so he he wanted to be a disciple, he wanted to take mantra initiation. And I with folded hand, I want to say that that the gurus play a very interesting leela, as they say in Hindi. In English, I don't know the right word for leela, maybe game. I don't know how it is exactly. So the gurus have their own mysterious way of playing this leela. So he did not give him initiation immediately, and he made him follow him for quite some time, and then he said, well, I am giving you mantra, but it is not complete. You have to come to Rishikesh to complete the next part. And soon Guru Purnima was coming. That normally falls in July, which is the Guru's day. And so my father thought that my 6 months period is over, and if I go to meet Swami Chidanand, he would complete my mantra initiation. So without telling my mother, who was pregnant with me, he went off to Rishikesh. And when I was 17 days old, he got the Mantra Diksha initiation. So I thought I would mention, because there is some connection with interfaith, with Gurudev and the 17. And it so happened that I came to the ashram, so the number of 17 has a play. So the gurus have their own way of playing this leela, and they are very mysterious. And a few small stories I would share. So when my father became a monk and went to the ashram, by then I had grown to be a non-believer, though I was born into a very spiritual family, and I could not accept that as something very nice. So I went on to kind of have an argument with my guru, Swami Chidanand Maharaj, and bring my father back. But it didn't work out, and I had a very powerful experience in the Samadhi shrine of Swami Shivanand, and pursued my career, and ultimately I also came and joined Swamiji. Not because I wanted to become a monk, like many brother monks who came to spiritual life with one goal, that they wanted to meditate and they want to realize. But my intention was, I fell in love with my guru, and I just wanted to be with him as much as I can, as long as I stayed in his body. So I was unruly, I was raw, I did not know how to approach a saint. But this is the beauty of saints, because they don't demand anything from you. They are just unconditional, they're full of love. They don't see the negative aspect at all. Of course, if you go away, then they also become very strict. So I had my own way of thinking. My belief was not very firm. I was shaky, but he was very kind, and he accepted me as I was. So as Swamiji mentioned, that Swamiji was very, very meticulous, and he wanted us to be perfect all the time. And sometimes it was very difficult to understand what he was saying unless you follow with attention and with patience. So once when I was studying, I had gone to Rishikesh, And Swamiji was speaking in the morning meditation class, and there were a lot of visitors from the west. The hall was packed. I had no space. I was sitting outside. And Swamiji started speaking. And he started speaking about how the Olympic sports persons prepare to win a gold medal in Olympics. And I was wondering, this is called morning meditation talk. And he's talking about how to prepare to win a gold medal in the Olympics. So I couldn't very much make out the connection. And Swamiji is a very meticulous person, so he goes into minute details in describing everything that he said. So he was going to how they prepare for the diet, and he was saying how they keep count of what mark they make today. And he went on for almost about 10 minutes. And so the hall was slowly getting emptied. I was sitting outside the hall, but I was inching in because people also lost patience and they started moving out because they also couldn't understand what is this going on. They heard, oh, there is this great saint Swami Chidananda and you should go and definitely hear him. But he's not making any sense. I assume so. But anyways, a lot of people had moved out. And because I wanted to listen and I was curious, what is the point he's trying to make? And finally, after all the description, which was I'm sure about 15, 16 minutes of only description, then he says, I quote, he says, all this effort that these sportsmen put in to achieve what? Just a moment of temporary glory, where the national anthem is played, the person is given a medal, and a bouquet is offered, and the next day newspaper says, so-and-so person has won the gold medal for 100-meter running. That is all. After 3 days, very few people remember. So imagine if they have to put in so much of effort to achieve this tiny little moment of glory, how much effort you should put in to achieve the most glorious moment, that is realization of the absolute. And that was such a stunning moment for all those who had the patience to wait. And suddenly that one line made relevance to all that this description that he was trying to make. And this was something I want to share with you because this is how saints are. We have to be patient and we have to wait and wait and wait and wait. Only you have patience and finally we get what we want to get. And some other aspect of my Guruji, Swami Chidanandaji, was he was a tough taskmaster. And as Swamiji was mentioning that he's very meticulous. So if you do not something very meticulously, he would take you to task. I share this in every platform because this is my favorite story. It's a spoon story. So I was serving my Swamiji and I used to serve him food. So as usual, everything was meticulously kept and he finished his food. Today Swamiji was saying in the morning that Baba Harirananji wanted you to chew the food even 100 times. So same with Swamiji. So he would take his time and he finished his food. While I was about to clear the tray, he said, sit down. Since how long have you been serving with me? I said, Swamiji, about 3 years now. And how many times do you lay the tray for me? I said, Swamiji, about 3 times. And if you have coffee, then it's 4th time. And then he said, every day you have been doing this, and can't you keep the spoon straight? And he pointed towards the spoon. Only then I realized the spoon was a little crooked. It was not straight, but it was a little crooked. And I, in my own, brazen way, I said, oh, it's the spoon. What's the big deal? In my mind, I was thinking. And suddenly Swamiji replied, it was, as I was telling you, it was very scary to live. It is very scary to live with masters because they scan your mind. They understand what is going on if they want to, whenever they want to. So be careful. And so immediately Swamiji read my mind and he said, this is the problem with your younger generation. You don't give value to small things. And how will you understand the bigger things in life? How will you understand the creation? How will you understand the supreme being? And again in my mind, because I was negative, so I was rationalizing, so to say. I said, come on, Swamiji, give me a break. It's just a spoon. Why do you connect it to the supreme being? And again comes the reply. If you do not see the Brahman in the spoon, you cannot recognize the supreme Brahman. And that was the level of awareness that the gurus, the realized masters demand of us. And these are small, small stories, but they are very profound stories. Because they did not think that being in that awareness is some far-sitting theory which we need to pull to our life. But they felt that this has to be in every moment, and in whatever we did, we have to achieve that level of awareness. And these are certain experiences I thought I will share. And like how Sarojji shared and about the pain that Swamiji felt about the doll. And I had done something very unspeakable and unthinkable at one point of time. So once the toothpaste was left open by mistake, and there were a lot of ants, lots of them. And Swamiji, when he used to be around in his home, if he sees an ant, this is how it happens. So he goes with a paper and waits patiently till the ant climbs up the paper and lifts it and goes out to the garden and let it go. As unusual of me and as unruly of me, I was worried. I mean, how do I do that? There's lots of them. It's not one or two. It's like plenty. And if I do that, the ants will be spread all over the house and they're going to bite Swamiji. So, anyways, I cleaned it. So Swamiji was meeting some people and he had back-to-back meetings. So suddenly I saw Swamiji running back to his room. I said, Swamiji, there are people waiting for you. No, you see, there is a lot of ants and I'm going to see how to rescue them. And I said, Swamiji, I have cleaned it. And I could not believe the look in Swamiji's face. And he said, how? I said, I opened the tap. And Swamiji fasted for 3 days. And he didn't tell me anything, but I tried to fast as much as I can. So in our daily life, we do not realize it's, be it attachment, be it emotion, be it ignorance, we end up doing all this. And the gurus take on our mistakes many times to teach us a lesson. And we all need to learn from these lessons and grow. They don't reject you because you're doing mistakes, but they definitely want you to strive for perfection. So that is what Swami Chidanand Maharaj was. He was all about how yoga has to be made relevant in our daily life, in that everything that we did with full awareness. On this auspicious occasion of celebrating his 100th birth year, I want to thank Swamiji, Paramahamsa Pragyananji, for kindly accepting to grace this function. And I'd also extend my thanks to Dr. Larry Greenfield to have come here, and Sarojji from Atlanta. And I also have Swami Karuna Premananji, a very senior disciple of Swami Chidanand Maharaj amongst us. She came all the way from West Virginia to be here with us. And there is also another very devout family, Dhabal Trivedi and his family. They drove down all the way from Houston to be here. And I thank you. And also, I think there is Dr. Minal Naik here, who has come to attend the program, has been a long-standing disciple of Swami Chidanand Maharaj. And I extend my thanks to the temple authorities, Bhima Reddy ji and Marwa ji, and every one of them. They were so supportive, so kind, and they said, tell us what you want us to do for you. And so that's how we are here. And I also want to thank our wonderful, wonderful Sangeeta ji, who is conducting the program. She's a very busy doctor, and she rescheduled everything to be here, and have been exchanging, still being in the ER, she's trying to figure out what is to be done, and I want all of you to give a big round of applause to her. And our camera team, our sound team, and of all all this also goes to, this happened for a big support from Swami Sampurnananji, Catherine Ma, who just got Sannyas Diksha recently at the Valighai Ashram. She coordinated dates with Baba because normally it's Swamiji's principle is not to announce his program. So this is a very rare occasion that he allowed us to announce the program. So, and credit goes to Catherine Sampurnanand Mataji. So I thank you her and bow down to her. And of course, all the Swamijis from Kriya Vedanta Gurukulam and the Mayami Ashram, Swami Atma Vidyananji, Swami Vairagyananji, and Swami Prabuddhananji, Swami Purnatmananji, and Swami Sahajananji. So I extend thanks to everyone, and if I miss out anyone, my thanks to everybody who made this trip happen. Thank you so much for being here and extending your support and to listen to all these great people on Swami Chidanand Maharaj. May these sharings enrich our lives and inspire us to walk towards the path of divine and realize God in this very life, which Swami Shivananji and Swami Chidanand Maharaj reiterated again and again. And we would like to offer a few items as a gesture to all our esteemed guests. And I will request everyone to come in the front, and we will honor each other.
I think we'd like to just formally thank each of our wonderful guests. So get your cell phones ready. Swamiji, please come. And we also have some of our officials from the temple, Sri Tilak Marwaha, Sri Bhima Reddy, Sri Lakshman Agadi, would like to formally thank them as well. Paramahamsa Prajnanananda Ji. Dr. Larry Greenfield Ji, from the Parliament of World Religions. And we'd like to also thank Sri Saroj Das for his wonderful remarks tonight. And Swamiji Yatidharmananda Ji wanted to thank the Hindu Temple of Greater Chicago. So I'd like to ask the officials to come forward.
Jagannath Society.
Are they here? Yeah. And members of the Jagannath Society of Greater Chicago, could we have you back on stage, please? Jagannath Society of Greater Chicago. And Kriya Vedanta Gurukulam.